After reading that intro, you might think like, gee, this guy can't hold a job. He's worked all these different places. And I guess I have, but one of the things that I wanted to do today is share my more recent experience in e-learning. When I was first hired at UMBC, actually, by Doug Kinjerski, sitting in the back, I was required to teach e-learning courses. So we'll talk a little bit about that in my experience. But essentially, how did I get involved in e-learning? Well, about 8 or 9 years ago, I was unemployed. I got laid off in another budget situation. And I received a flyer in the mail from the University of Phoenix. And they said, basically, we are looking for online instructors. And I thought about it, and I talked with a friend of mine at Towson University, who's actually a department chair there now. And he said, you know, I hear it's a really good training program for faculty. So I went through the program, and they model it like one of their courses. It was extremely rigorous. It was very challenging, and it modeled what their online courses do. Now, regardless of what you think of Phoenix, this particular training course for online faculty was excellent. And it was there I actually learned a lot of the things that I do today. So, I mean, my lesson learned from that is you can find little nuggets of wisdom and knowledge and tricks and tips from a lot of different varieties. You just have to be open-minded. So today what I wanted to do was basically 3 things. I wanted to share my experience with you in terms of practicality. Research is great, but I'm more into applied things. I think most of them are based in research. But if you're interested in e-learning, or you're doing it now, or you're thinking about it, I probably made most of the mistakes you can make as somebody about 7 years ago that started teaching e-learning. And as long as I'm on that topic, I always love, you know, intros where somebody says, I've been in e-learning specifically for like 27 years. And it's like, were you doing like the sunrise semester back, you know, 25 years ago with public TV? Because as we know, e-learning as we have it today is very different than the old telecourses and the sunrise semesters and, of course, correspondence courses and so forth. So we'll talk about my mistakes. I think I'm a pretty average person. Doug's worked with me. Am I at least average, Doug? At least. I'm at least average. Okay, so there you have it. And then we'll talk about some tools and resources. And the good thing is there are a lot of free tools out there that are available. You don't have to do all the research yourself. I'll show you a couple of sites or two that have already evaluated a number of them. And I would say about 2/3 of them on this site are free. And there's literally hundreds of them. So let's get started. Now, you came here with an idea on what you wanted to hear. So in practicing good learning principles, what I want to do is I want some ideas from you on what do you want to know today. I'm not guaranteeing I can address every single thing, but what do you want to walk away with today? Yes, in the back. What you shouldn't be doing? Okay. Oh, good. You'll learn from my mistakes. We'll have a lot of those. All right. What else?
One thing that grading adequately and timely.
Grading?
Getting the paper back in a timely.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about time frame in communication and expectations. Yes?
It would be helpful to hear about enforcing integrity, since a lot of your students are faceless.
Okay. Okay. Don't let me forget that. That's not a part of the formal presentation, but don't let me forget that, because there are ways to address that.
How you balance the online and on-site components,
Okay.
especially when there's room restrictions and challenges.
Okay. Ben, I think you had a question.
Yes, I'm looking for any kind of suggestions to improve online.
Okay. All right. Now, those are great ideas. I'm sorry. Another one?
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
Attrition, I'd like to.
The what?
Attrition, losing students.
Attrition. Okay.
Engaging.
Engaging students. Okay. Well, you were very quiet at first, but now you're coming out of your shell. These are great ideas. My style is to welcome questions at any point. I'm not one of those that will say, you know, hold that till the end. I might cover it very quickly and then say, you know, I'll be around later to address, you know, your personal situation or your question, because I know We want to keep to roughly about an hour, I guess, right, till about 2 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So thank you for sharing that. Now, I don't have any magic pills, no magic solutions, because what I found is teaching online, in many respects, and this is a paradox, a bad word in a way, teaching online is like teaching in person because you add your own personality to it, okay? So what potentially works for me online, and I'll let my students be the judge of that, might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. And the same sort of thing carries true in in-person courses. Some people can use humor very effectively, while others are not naturally humorous. So you need to be who you are, okay? Now, my ideas are based on my experience. Are they the only ideas on the face of the earth on how to approach these issues? Of course not. I'm just one person. But I think what you have is the opportunity to share a lot of these ideas collectively as an institution, because you are doing a lot of things online. In a way, UMBC is not. Where I work, my program is the exception. We're one of 3 graduate programs that have an online program. Undergraduate is pretty much, there's nothing online almost, which I think is an issue, and that's a topic for another day. So you should be, I think, impressed with yourself that you're doing so much and you're taking on a lot. And I know from some of my conversations with some of my colleagues that work here, it is very impressive how much you're doing. You do have people on staff in terms of instructional designers like Deanne. We don't have that. We do not have at UMBC an on-staff instructional designer. Do you believe that? Probably not good, but we don't have anybody on staff that does that. So you should be proud of yourself that you probably are accomplishing a lot more and attempting a lot more than you might think you are. So now, one of my students asked me once, what's your motivation? Why do you want to teach online? It can be really crazy. It's difficult. It takes a lot of time. Would you rather teach in person or would you rather teach online? And I thought about it and I said, I enjoy the same advantages that you do as a student. And they said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, I like the fact that, and we do mostly asynchronous, we do have some synchronous classes. I like the fact that I can go to the beach in the summer with my family and teach a summer course. I disappear for an hour or 2 a day, and I go to a place that has an internet connection, and I teach online. And if I taught that course in person, I couldn't do it. I couldn't go to the beach. So the advantages that students enjoy, I enjoy as well. Now, is it more work? Arguably, it is. To me, one of the things that motivates me is I like learning new things. With e-learning, there's always new things coming out. So it's not for everybody. It's not for every faculty member. It's not for every student. And you have to make your own decisions. But that's why I teach online. That's one of my motivations. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of my lessons learned and my assumptions when I first started teaching online. And I didn't have anybody that basically took me by the hand and said, hey, here's what you need to think about. You're going to teach this online course for the first time. Here's what you need to know. It was pretty much, here's your syllabus. We use Blackboard. There's a course shell in Blackboard from whoever taught your course the last time, and have a great semester. And that was it, okay? Thank goodness I took the University of Phoenix faculty training, which proved to be invaluable, actually. It was excellent. So we're going to go over some little scenarios that relate to some things that I encountered and what I assumed, and